Hello everyone, it's Pepsi back in Roblox Wild Horse Islands. Today I'm going to be doing another video on the 2024 winter event in Wild Horse Islands. I'm going to be going over every single activity that is available for you to earn event currency during the event on Winter Resort World. This includes both currencies of golden snowflakes as well as winter tokens that can be exchanged for golden snowflakes. As you guys all know, it is taking around 450 golden snowflakes to complete all the event, the full event, and get all the milestone rewards when turning in your snowflakes to Hank. So, that is quite a lot of snowflakes to grind, both if you are grinding actively in game or if you are inactive. So I am also going to be bringing you a bunch of tips and tricks for grinding these activities as well. I even have a full graphic featuring all the calculations and math that have gone into this video and showing every single activity available. So that will also be linked in the description for you to use as a resource, and I will be referencing it when I am showing you each activity on screen. We are going to be going from the last activity to the very top activity for earning golden snowflakes as quick as possible. So without further ado, this is the graphic I have created. It is linked in the description. It is completely in depth with every single calculation as well as the equipment I used for this data. That is actually the first thing I'm going to be popping up in game, but make sure you click that link below in the description and pull that up if you want to reference it. I am going to be referring to each activity and their highlighted color. They are highlighted in rainbow order from red, orange, yellow, green, dark blue, light blue, purple, and pink, going down in the row. So if I am referencing that color and the graphic, you know what I am talking about. So let me pull up the horse that I was using for all these statistics before we get started. So this is the horse I have been using to do these calculations. It is an OG statistic thoroughbred horse, and it has a +5 because it is pure bred as well. So if you don't know what an OG stat horse is, an OG stat has 100% for one of its statistics. With thoroughbreds, that 100% is in speed. For example, this is an OG stat Arabian, so 100% is in stamina. But I will be using an OG stat thoroughbred, as you can see at the bottom of that graphic. And because it's 100%, I am able to train it to a +5. So it also has a +5. As far as Tack goes, I will actually have it follow so I can pull up the Tack. I know it just fell down. But I do have a barrel saddle that is prismatic tier. So this adds 4.35% stamina and 39.15% speed. The barrel saddle is the saddle that gives you the most speed. It is 90% speed and then 10% stamina. There are some other saddles that I use quite often that are about 70% 30% or vice versa, 30% 70%. But this is the saddle that gives the most speed, which is why I'm using this one. And the bridle I use, or bridle, sorry, does not add any speed. It only gives me a little bit of a stamina boost and an agility boost. The only reason I am using it is because I prefer the little bit higher stamina just while I am filming the video and showing you guys everything. It does not affect any of the numbers though. So, and I do not have horseshoes. Sorry, I forgot to note that. I do not have horseshoes on this horse because I do not have any prismatic horseshoes. My highest tier is gold right now. I've only been playing for 60 some days in game, so I do not include horseshoes on these calculations. I'm going to be going, like I said, from the slowest golden snowflake making method to the fastest. So the very slowest is actually going to be ice fishing. I do have some tips and tricks, and I do recommend ice fishing even if it's pretty slow. So as you can see on the calculations, it is the very first one in red. It is the only activity that you are able to AFK in, which is why I still recommend it. I'm actually going to pick up my horse while I talk about fishing. If you watched my other video, you know that for the winter activity of fishing, you need the fishing rod, which you get from doing around 8 quests with Toby on mainland. And then you just click on the hole and it fishes. So ice fishing, to catch a fish, it is a random time that this bar fills up from 7 seconds to 20 seconds when I was testing this. So it can take any time as quick as 7 seconds and as long as 20 seconds to catch a fish. This is one of the longer ones. And then this one is quite faster. And then each fish you catch, whether it's a frozen fish or a non-frozen fish, takes 3 to 5, it gives you 3 to 5 winter tokens. As you can see, I have a lot of winter tokens. But each fish I catch gives me around 3 to 5. And to get a golden snowflake, it takes 150 tokens, winter tokens. So that's why in the calculations you see 2 numbers for fishing. If you're converting your tokens into golden snowflakes, it takes 8.4 minutes to get a golden snowflake, to get 150 tokens. And that is averaging 3 to 5 tokens per fish, so I averaged it to 4. And when you're averaging the 7 to 20 seconds it takes to catch a fish, the average is 13.5 seconds. Also, if you're counting frozen fish, which is the quicker method, I recommend converting both if you're using this method. But with fish itself, it takes me about 20 minutes to catch around 50 fish, and 10 frozen fish is 1 golden snowflake when you turn it into Toby right over here. So in fish, it takes 4.5 minutes to earn 10 frozen fish and get 1 golden snowflake. That's why you see those 2 numbers. Now on to my tips and tricks. Even though this is the slowest method, I do recommend it for AFKing. And a lot of people have problems AFKing with ice fishing. So it used to be that you were able to just use an auto clicker, and I do have an auto clicker I recommend in general if you are using that for events, like for example an autumn event. I used to use one. Auto clicking is allowed in game. It is not against any rules of the developers. The only rule that Trick has is that no using multiple accounts at the same time. So if you have several accounts, you cannot AFK fish on several accounts at once. So instead of an auto clicker, because it is not working for fishing, once your player has the little away icon, you will still continue to catch fish, but you won't actually gain fish and you won't get any tokens. You will just have the animation of you casting the rod into the water at times. But you will stop earning any of the benefits of winter tokens or frozen fish. And it'll say away on your little I think they call it, roleplay status. It'll say away right here in grayed out letters when you are counted as AFK. I believe it's like around 10 minutes of your player just sitting there. Even if you are constantly clicking on the ice fish hole, it will still turn your player to AFK and you will stop collecting. That's why a lot of players leave an auto clicker and then they come back several hours later and they only caught around 18 frozen fish. So what I recommend is actually this application called Tiny Task. Please be sure you are downloading it from a correct source if you are getting anything online. I will try to link that below as well. But this is what Tiny Task looks like when you open it. It will be much smaller on your screen. This is just an image for demonstration purposes. So as you can see, it's open, save, record, play, .exe, and preferences. And I will quickly explain how to use this because it's a little bit confusing if you don't know. So when you open preferences is the very first thing you want to open. It'll open another little menu that I can't really show on my screen, but you want to make sure you check continuous playback because you want whatever you record to play again and again and again and not stop. Otherwise, it will play just once and then stop. And what you're recording is you're recording your mouse movements. So you want to hover over recording hotkey and check whatever it is. Your automatic hotkey should be Control Shift Alt R, and you press all those at once. And this is for computers or laptops only. I do not know what is an alternative that'll work for AFK fishing on mobile or tablet or iPad or your phone. I don't know an alternative for mobile, but if you do have one, please comment it down below to help other players. All you do is start recording. You record yourself clicking and then doing something else to make sure your player doesn't go AFK, whether that's movement, clicking on your inventory, or equipping like your harvester or another tool and re-equipping the fishing rod. So something so that your player does not go AFK. And then continue back to fishing and clicking on the ice lake. Now the good thing is, even if you're fishing and this bar is loading, you can click again and again and it won't stop you from completing this progress bar. So you don't have to like wait 20 seconds because it may take up to 20 seconds for this bar to fill up. You can just keep clicking when you're recording that. And then the next thing you want to do is make sure your playback key is something easy. I changed mine from the automatic, which is Control Shift Alt P, to F8, so I can just press F8 to start the loop and F8 to stop the loop. And that is how you are able to use this program to continuously AFK fish. This is the one program I recommend. There are others, but that is my tip for AFK fishing. In number 7, the next quickest method is, let me get over there. Number 7 is snow plowing. Snow plowing will earn you a golden snowflake around every 2.4 minutes, so around 2.5 minutes, and it is quite slow. So these roads are full of snow. If you want to get a snow plow, you either need to get it from turning in some golden snowflakes or from buying it for, I believe, 150 winter tokens outside the lodge, and that will show up in your vehicles. You do need to equip a driving harness, and it will also unequip your saddle and your bridle, sorry, from your horse, as well as any saddle pads. And then you can wear whatever snow plow you have and plow snow on these road pathways. You cannot plow snow inside the Snowman pen. It does not work. So yeah. And you get around 15 to 17 tokens for every around 15 seconds. I believe it's around 5 piles of fully plowed snow. I don't even recommend trotting for this, which I think is the fastest your horse can go. I recommend you actually walk because it takes a while to get every pile of snow. And this horse is kind of annoying for doing this because it's energetic, so it keeps wanting to speed up. Regardless, this isn't a great method. I don't recommend it. It takes 2.5 minutes to get a golden snowflake when you do the math, and it as you can see on the graphic, it's in pink. It takes a little bit of algebra, but you can see the math there. It's not the best for sure, and since it takes 150 tokens to get a golden snowflake, you have to wait quite a while. You do have a chance of getting golden snowflakes while plowing snow, but because it is so rare, and because it actually is very inconsistent for counting, as far as the calculations go, I did not include that in calculations. It is a very minimal effect on how much you earn from this method, so I didn't bother calculating it. So that is the 7th slowest method. Sorry, I should say 6th. Ice hockey, I did not count at all. It is not even included on this list because, as you can see in purple on the graphic, you do not earn tokens in ice hockey when you are doing it by yourself or solo. You do not earn any tokens. You do earn some if you hit the hockey puck with another player, but again, it's inconsistent. And most of these grinding methods, I was counting on you doing as a solo player because not everyone has someone else to help them as well. So technically, ice hockey is number 8, then ice fishing is number 7, snow plowing is number 6. On to the 5th fastest method for earning golden snowflakes, we have the sparkly bridge race. If you don't know where this is, it's by the barn. On the map, it's down here. When you spawn in, you follow the path down here to that little racing checkered flag where it says sparkly bridge. And the start point is actually right here by the barn. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I want to show you some of the checkpoints and things that pop up. So you follow the checkpoints, it'll lead you back to the giant ice rink in the middle. I am doing this again, like I showed you on my horse statistics, on a purebred 100 plus 5 OG stat horse, thoroughbred, with a prismatic barrel saddle. So that's why these numbers are a bit quicker than other horses if you're doing it on a different horse. This has 28 checkpoints, and it spawns several obstacles like other races, but it also spawns these sparkly bridges on top of the main bonfire. And it has 28 checkpoints, so quite a lot of checkpoints. And it ends at, I will actually be going to the end spot instead of following the bridge. But it ends right here, like right around here, around this line. But it ends the race right here. The thing with doing this race is it takes me 75 seconds on this horse to complete this race. You earn 1 golden snowflake per each race you complete. So 1 golden snowflake for every 75 seconds. But it also takes around 13 seconds to travel back. So when you finish, you actually have to go back past the ice hockey rink back towards the barn where that starting point is to do it again and complete the loop. Because if you're grinding over and over, you are trying to complete this over and over as fast as you can to earn as many golden snowflakes as possible. So with that 13.5 second travel back time, you are looking at 1 golden snowflake for around every 89 seconds or 1.5 minutes. So around every minute and a half, you are earning golden snowflake. Next on to number 4, I believe. Is it 4? Yes, 4. We have snowman building. So let's head over to the snowman race. I don't really have any tips and tricks if you are doing that sparkling bridge race besides making sure when you're going back, you are going over the hill straight towards the barn, I guess. But yeah, there's really no other tips and tricks for that one. Moving on to a snowman building in number 4. The 4th fastest method is very popular. I see a lot of players snowman do the snowmans. So basically, you get a ball from one of the snowball piles and you gather snow. My first tip is to actually run into a circle, because as you can see, the snowballs run on momentum, and when you are going in a circle, your snowball is going much faster over the snow piles and accumulating more snow quicker. Then if I just go in a line, you can see it is much slower. It is taking quite a while. So I definitely recommend going in circles. Now, when I did the calculations, you see me refer to snowballs as 100% full because I get every snowball to 100% before turning them in. When you turn in a snowball, I will actually show you on this empty one. It gives you 16% of a snowman and 92 tokens. In addition to that, if you're following along with the math, it's going to take a second. To get a snowball to 100%, for me it takes around 47.6 seconds or around 48 seconds. So it takes 48 seconds to get a snowball to 100%. You get 92 tokens, but you also get a bonus for completing Snowman. So if you complete a Snowman, and this is in a private server by myself, but if you're in a public server, the bonus is just going to be split depending on your contribution. So let's say if you only did half of the Snowman and another player did another half, you would get half of this bonus. That bonus for completing a snowman is 100 tokens. So you would get 100 tokens if you completed a snowman all by yourself. If you and a friend did it 50-50, you would get 50 tokens. Now I have another 100% snowball. Now, because every snowball, a full 100% snowball, contributes, like I showed you over there, 16% towards a snowman, it takes 6.25, so 6.25 fully complete snowballs to finish a snowman to 100%. So these two, this one and that one over there, you can see it's 98%. I've submitted 6 full 100% snowballs to it. So each one of these only needs 25% of a snowball or 0.25 to be completed. Now, I done this, or pre-done this, so I could show you this. If you turn in 100% snowball to the 98 that had 6, you can see I got 192 winter tokens, which is 100 winter tokens plus the 92 for submitting a full snowball, even though the snowman only needed 25%. Now, for this other one, I'm actually only going to I'm going to try to get 25 to 30% before submitting it. It's going to be a little bit tricky because I don't want to get too much. Oh, yep, I got 25 exactly. So I should get, I think, 105. So if I add that, oh, I got 5. Okay, I think you need 26, sorry. Because it needs that full 25%. Give me one moment, I messed up. But my point is, even if you submit a smaller snowball, and you will still see this here, even if you submit a smaller snowball, if I can do it right, give me a second. So when I was testing this, I submitted snowballs that were 30%. I never got it exactly 25% like that, so this will take me a moment. There we go, 107. And I actually got the secret item. I will be doing another video on these secret items. There are 3 secret items that you can get in the winter event that are done through activities, and I will describe them and show them to you in another video, so look out for the next video. But as you can see, when I completed that, I got 107 winter tokens. That is because you still get the 100 bonus for completing a snowman, because I did this whole thing by myself, but I only got 7 because I submitted a lower snowball, a smaller snowball. So my point to doing that is, when you're completing a snowball on a private server or on a public server, and you see that there's only a couple percentage points left for that snowman, you don't have to only submit, it is not the most efficient to only submit a smaller snowball because there's fewer points. You still get the full points even if your snowball is at 100% or much larger than whatever needs to be completed to complete the snowman. So definitely turn in your bigger snowballs no matter what percentage it is. It always helps. And then again, with the Snowman, you have 3 spots to exchange your tokens for golden snowflakes over here, so definitely do that. And if you have a private server, another tip is try doing this on the private servers. If you are using this method, even though public servers you get full snowman quicker, the thing with public servers is that these snow piles do diminish much quicker, so it is much easier to get full snowballs and roll them around effectively on private servers. Moving on to the top 3. In 3rd place, we have, I am not going to be able to take this ski lift, am I? No, it's all the way at the top. In 3rd place, we have the 3rd fastest method for earning your golden snowflakes this event season. It is a slippery ski hill, which is all the way at the top over here. I chose the worst way to climb this mountain, but it's okay. So, slippery ski hill is at the very top of the mountain. You can see the other checkered flag on your map. I will show you in a moment. And you can get here by either doing the ski lift that I showed at the beginning of the video, or just climbing the mountain like I just did. But it is up here, if you missed it. It has the checkered flag. Now, this race takes much quicker. If you are doing it by yourself, you take the rightmost path. If you do multiple players, I believe other players go down the other path. These calculations, we're using this rightmost path because I'm doing these calculations solo. Keep in mind your horse does slide down the ice, so it is not using the full capabilities of the 100 speed horse, technically. But it still only takes 39 seconds for my horse to complete this race. There are only 15 checkpoints, which is really good. And then to travel back actually takes roughly the same amount of time. It takes 29.8 seconds to travel back up that hill. So around 30 seconds. So in total, because of that travel back time, you are around 69 seconds per golden snowflake, because each race you complete is 1 golden snowflake. In total, that's around a minute per golden snowflake. So while that is pretty quick, that is still in your number 3rd spot. Tip for this one, and it's a very kind of obvious tip: do not take the ski lift if you are grinding this. It is much quicker to just run straight back on the racetrack that you came in, or even just climb the mountain. It'll be much faster, trust me. Do not bother with the ski lift. I never even take the other ski lift. I've only taken the one by the Snowman, and it's only for the views. It's not worth it. But yeah. In the 2nd spot, and if you're keeping along with the graphic, that was in green. In the 2nd spot, you can see with the silver medal is bonfire building. So I have a tip that includes both bonfire building and igloo building, but let me go over each of them. First, bonfire building, you start at the log pile, which is labeled on your map with bonfire logs and exclamation point. It's next to your igloos, in between your igloos and your snowman pen. So you grab a log. My number 1 tip for this one is when you're dragging the logs, climb up this hill in between the trees and go in between the ice hockey and the ice fishing cabin to get to the bonfire in the middle. Do not, please, for your sake, do not go through this ice hockey rink with a log, because you saw how bulky those logs are. You cannot, it is so hard to get it to fit in between these gaps. And when your horse is trying to climb up here, if you jump over those piles that make up the ice hockey rink, it is very hard to drag a log through. It takes much more time. You end up taking around double the amount of time if you're trying to drag it through there. I will show you for the sake of showing you. Also, the ice is So like dragging that through there is like my nightmare. Definitely go around. And this is the quickest way to go around, is in between the rink and the fishing spot. Yeah, so if you can look at the calculations in yellow, it takes 20.8 seconds around for me to drag a log over to the bonfire. It takes 12 seconds for me to travel back to the log pile, and in total I get 90 tokens every log I contribute. While I believe there might be some bonuses for getting 5,000 logs into the fire, because I'm doing this solo and each log only gives 100 towards the bonfire itself, I am not counting that because that's like 50 logs and it won't make much of a difference. And once you turn in a log, I'll actually show you. On the bonfire, it starts diminishing. So like the fire is using up that log. And it diminishes by like 10 a second, I believe. So you can see it's already at 90, 80. So getting it up to 5,000 by yourself solo will take more than 50 logs, so that's not included in any calculations. In total, because it takes 150 tokens to get a golden snowflake, as you know, it is around 54.7 seconds or 55 seconds to get a golden snowflake using that method. Now, the very, very quickest method to use a golden snowflake is ice chunks and igloo building. So ice chunks are found on your ice rink. The ice rink, when I refer to the ice rink, is this huge ice circle in the middle of the map, are found on your ice rink. They look like these giant triangular shards of ice sticking out of the ground. There are several, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they respawn every once in a while. So when you break it, it will respawn in that section. Just give it a bit. You can go break another one in the meantime. This one is the closest one to the igloo, so this is the one that I use the calculations on. But it does depend which one you are traveling to on how quick this is. It is still the quickest method regardless, especially with the next tip I'm going to show you. So what you do is you go up to the ice shard and you start breaking it with your harvester. It has 150 durability that you have to break, and then it drops 2 blocks of ice. You drag it with your horse. Even though breaking those shards give you the same amount as like breaking anything in game does when it's an event, around 3 to 5 tokens, I didn't include that in the calculations, but it does give you a small amount of tokens for that. You drag your ice block where the arrow points towards the igloo. And for me, when you're looking at those calculations, this is in orange on the graphic, it takes 6.2 seconds for me to break a ice chunk, and each ice chunk gives me about not about. Each ice chunk is guaranteed to give you 2 ice blocks. So that is divided by 2. When I turn in an ice chunk to the igloo, you can see over here, it gives 20% towards that igloo being built. So I already started this one. This is now at 80. And it gives me 115 winter tokens. In addition to that, when you complete an igloo, you get 175 winter tokens, and I will show you right now because I'm on the last one. To complete an igloo, because each block gives 20%, you need 5 blocks total. So because of that, that is 170 bonus tokens for every 5 blocks to make a completed igloo. And in addition to the time it takes to break the ice, you need 20.75 seconds to get to the igloo, roughly, using my calculations with this horse, and 15.5 seconds to travel back to the ice chunks, or to, like, the block if you already are mid transferring your 2 ice blocks. So let's see. When I complete this igloo, you can see it added to me 285 tokens. That reason is because it's combining both the 170 igloo bonus plus the 115 for giving a block in the first place. that 170 is going to be divided by whatever number of players are contributing and how much they contribute. So let's say you put 3 out of the 5 blocks needed to complete one igloo, you will get 3 out of 5, which is 60% of 170 for the igloo bonus. Whereas the other player would get the remaining 40% of the 170 tokens. Anyways, using all that math, and as you can see, it is quite a bit of algebra on that graphic. It is 39.6 seconds per golden snowflake, since a golden snowflake's 150 tokens, winter tokens. So to round that, that is 40 seconds for golden snowflake. So that is the quickest method. Now, I have a way that you could probably get a golden snowflake around every 30 seconds. I didn't really do the math on this, but this is the way I do this. When I'm doing igloos for golden snowflakes, and this is for active grinding because this is the quickest way to actively grind. If you're looking for inactive grinding, stick to AFK fishing. That's the only way to grind when you are offline. But when I'm doing igloos, I break a block of ice and I will go do the igloo. So I will, as normal, head towards the igloos, put in this block of ice. The difference is I am going to be combining the igloo building with bonfire making. And how I do that is once I contribute this ice block, there you go, I will actually, instead of going straight to the lake, I will go right here because the drop-off point is right next to the pickup point for the bonfire logs. Grab a log and drag it with me while I'm going to the ice lake to grab the next block. So I will drag it here to the bonfire, and then I will go grab the block. Sorry, I was headed like there was an ice chunk there. Oh, if I can drag it. There you go. And then grab the block because these ice chunks are on the lake where the bonfire drop-off point is. Oh, there we go. And drop this off at the igloo before I repeat it again. So now I can go to the logs, drag another one, and back and forth. And I combine these top two methods to make sure I'm getting the most out of every trip back and forth I do. Sorry, I'm still a little sick. I'm getting over it. But in total, combining these two makes it super fast to earn your tokens, even though when you're dragging something you can't gallop. It still helps because you're making that trip be a lot more effective. Also, especially with OG stat horses, well, thoroughbreds in particular, because they're 100 on the speed, I don't have much stamina, so this just saves me a lot of galloping anyways. That would have been time that I have to wait for my horse's stamina to pile back up. Anyways, those are all my tips and tricks. I believe with the very last method, in active grinding, you can get a golden snowflake around every 30 seconds, since they're 150 tokens each. And then with inactive grinding and frozen fish, you can get a lot of frozen fish pretty quickly if you're not in game. So as you can see, I have 32,000 winter tokens, and if I go to my resources, I have over 2,900 frozen fish, and each 10 is a snowflake, so that's 291 snowflakes right there. I have 53 more snowflakes. I believe in my last video I submitted 475, and I've sold like 250 in addition to that. So I've sold 500 total in addition to that. So yes, I definitely think that I've gone through all the activities and all the methods and shown you the best ways to get golden snowflakes and tokens this season. If you have any other methods or any questions about any of the methods I went through in this video, please leave them down below. I know this video is really long. I'm going to try to put timestamps for everything. And once again, this graphic with the full math for every single activity is going to be linked down below, as well as any programs and anything else I referenced. Definitely share this video with a friend if they are wondering what methods are the best to get those 450 snowflakes to complete the event. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. See ya. Bye.